Hello, everybody. Today, I want to talk about Mercury. Mercury is going through a retrograde. So here we go. Um, so this Mercury retrograde started a few days ago, on November 9th, and will last until the 29th. And you can see Mercury here is now retrograde in Sagittarius at 5 degrees, and he will go all the way back into Scorpio. Um, and then stationing direct on November 29th. So for the rest of the month, we are dealing with this Mercury retrograde. And Mercury is very busy during this retrograde. He will be communicating to Uranus in Taurus, communicating to Jupiter, to Neptune, to Saturn. Um, to Pluto, the Black Moon Lilith, and the Sun. Mercury's basically communicating to all the planets right now. And Mercury in astrology represents our mind, our brain, and our mind's ability to process information. Mercury also governs our nervous system and our hand-eye coordination, and also traveling, short distance travel, our daily commutes to the grocery store or to work. It's a different kind of traveling than Jupiter or the Sagittarius energy, where we're now going long distances. So Mercury governs the roads, traffic, electronics, anything that has any form of communication operating there. So in computers and in electronics, there is nothing but communication happening. A little electrical pulses, all that sort of stuff. Same thing with the mind, same thing with the body and the brain and the nervous system. Everything is constantly communicating with each other. So Mercury is a very, very important planet that most folks don't really understand how deep it goes. Most folks understand as Mercury as just communication, right? And when Mercury goes retrograde, things are going to get all fucked up. Communication is going to get all haywire, and you're going to lose some valuable things like your keys or your laptop might malfunction. But the purpose of a Mercury going retrograde is a period of introspection. So that's an important thing to understand is with Mercury going retrograde, it's a period of introspection. It's a period of re-evaluating, of reanalyzing, of all the re's of going back into a conversation and reassessing the dialogue, reassessing the terms of agreements and allowing yourself to think, okay, am I going down the right direction right now? Uh, are all my actions and decisions from the past 3 months in alignment with exactly where I want to go moving forward? And reanalyzing and reassessing and reevaluating just many different things going on in our life. And the purpose of a Mercury retrograde, I mean, there's so many different purposes, but symbolically, Mercury, majority of its time is moving very fast ahead of the sun. And so, if Mercury represents our mind and information and how much information we are taking in and having to process that and all the different communications and the mental synapses going on, then what is the sun? If Mercury represents the brain and the mind and our mind's ability to process information, but when I say process information, I'm not just talking about things happening in the world. I'm also talking about things that are stimulating your senses, anything that you're processing. Then what is the sun? The sun is your awareness. It's your vitality. It's your life force. So like a baby, right? The sun is like a baby. It's like a child that doesn't know anything, right? And like a baby, babies pick things up and they're learning. They don't know what anything is. And so the sun represents your awareness. You are what is your awareness about? Where in what area of life are your lights turned on and your awareness is, okay? And Mercury is the mind and processing information. So the fact that most of the time Mercury is moving fast ahead of the sun, it means that our minds process and are making decisions in a more rapid pace than our conscious awareness. And I know that can sound a little confusing because some folks might hear that and might say, well, how is my mind how am I not aware of things that my mind or the things that I'm receiving like not in sync in the exact time? Well, I mean that's very easy. That's a very easy thing to process when you're hit with some bit of information, right? You're hit with a piece of information, and so like let me think of an example here. So let's say, for example, um, you are aware that there's a huge weather forecast, right? Information has come about, and there's a huge weather forecast, and there's warnings, there's flood warnings, there's a freeze warning, and so all this information is coming to you, and you are processing things mentally, like, okay, I'm gonna have to insulate my pipes. I'm gonna have to clear the gutters of my house. I'm gonna have to do all these things in preparation. But then it isn't until the arrival of the weather where you are aware of, I mean, it's like, I don't know if that's the best example there of what I'm trying to say. So let me try to come up with a better one here. Um, yeah, so here, what's a better one? Hold on, I just got an email. Not the email I want to see. So, now what is an awareness? What is a good awareness? Um, I got it. I got it. I got it. So here's a really good example. The other day, my wife was overwhelmed, right? She was overwhelmed and dealing with some frustration. And I'm trying to connect with her. Honey, what's on your mind? What are you overwhelmed about? And her response, too many things. Okay, well, what are some of these things? All the things. All right, what are all the things? I don't know. I just know that there are so many things that I'm processing and so many things that I feel accountable for that I can't, filter my way through it. So, we went to our whiteboard and I wanted to help her and say, okay, honey, well, let's start writing down some of the things. And we went through a list and she was not really aware of just how many things she was holding space for and processing. Connections, friendships, responsibilities, our pets, our finances, um, so many different things that she has going on. So this is a perfect example of what I mean about Mercury being ahead of our awareness. And so all of these things that she was overwhelmed about, are things that she, made agreements to and has started, such as a choir practice and a program for her business, all sorts of things that she initiated and started doing. But then there comes a point where all of that has been moving way too fast for us to actually consciously process. And that's what a Mercury retrograde is about, is to slow it down and sort of stop and reanalyze all of the different agreements and responsibilities in the different plates that we're spinning and reprioritize and reorganize all of the different things we have overwhelming our mind. Okay. And so when Mercury goes retrograde, it's a period of introspection to reassess, you know, just how much energy we want to be giving to certain things in our lives, and to make space and to organize and to clear clutter in our lives. And this Mercury retrograde is happening in the sign of Sagittarius. And Sagittarius is the philosopher of the zodiac. Sagittarius is the sign that has traveled the entire world and can see how humanity and society operates in a bigger picture to the point where they're able to philosophize on what is the purpose to life, what is the meaning to all the things that we have in our world. What is the meaning of having a family? What is the meaning of the conquest of love? What is the purpose of spiritual connections? Why? Why all of these things, right? It's this bigger picture of of discovery and wanting to know what meaning and purpose is. And so with Mercury in initiating his retrograde in Sagittarius, this is our minds kind of going introspection in wanting to discover, um, you know, to remind ourselves what kind of meaning or purpose we are giving to the things we have going on in our lives, which is very important if you've been in a period of feeling lost and confused, or a period of uncertainty and doubt in just all of the things that you are dealing with in your life. So this is wonderful. And this Mercury retrograde will eventually go back into Scorpio. So let's see. Let's go. This Mercury retrograde will eventually go back into Scorpio. When exactly will it go back into Scorpio? We'll find out. All right, so right around November 18th and 19th, we have Mercury re-entering the sign of Scorpio. And when that happens, that's a big deal. Oh, I went too far. And when that happens, that's a big deal because Mercury will be directly opposing Uranus in Taurus. And this will be the second Mercury Uranus opposition. The first Mercury Uranus opposition happened in the sign of Mercury in Sag and Uranus in Gemini. And that's the first time we've experienced these energies in over 80 years. So uh, the that's a big deal here. And Mercury will oppose Uranus two times. Okay, so Mercury will oppose Uranus during this retrograde, moving back, and then when Mercury stations direct again, moving forward, Mercury will oppose this Uranus for the third time in this season. So, when Mercury re-enters Scorpio, this is that mind of where we started the retrograde looking for a, meaning and purpose of our lives and the things going on in the world and how it relates to us, to then going back into analyzing our psychology, into analyzing our own selves, and to break down what are some of our unconscious habits and patterns still operating within us here, and where are those crevices in our mind and in our brain? Can we shake up the stagnation here in order to um, really rewire ourselves? So this Mercury retrograde is going to be a big one in rewiring our attitudes, our perspectives, and our expression towards things that we relate to in our lives, towards the things we have going on in our lives, which is a really big deal because being able to rewire our minds, reprogram our minds, and change our attitude and change our perspective and change the way we are affirming the things that we believe to be true about ourselves and in our lives can literally change our entire reality. So this is a big one. And with Mercury, again, being the sign that rules the brain and the nervous system, this Mercury retrograde and the fact that it will be opposing Uranus three times. We've already gone through one and we're about to go through another in less than a week away. This is an incredible opportunity to rewire your brain, your affirmations, your perspective, and your nervous system, and to focus on trying to literally transform into becoming a different embodiment. And what's beautiful about this is the fact that we are going through the year of the snake, right? And the year of the snake is about transformations. It's very much related to the archetypes of Scorpio, and Scorpio is all about birth, death, transformation and creation. All right. And snakes are really known for their ability to completely shed their skin. They move and slither in the ground. They can be very nocturnal. They hide. They're very powerful and venomous, just like the nature of Scorpio, being the sign of the scorpion. And so I believe that this Scorpio season is that much more powerful, being that we are moving through a year of the snake and we are going through this and a 9 year. Don't forget that this year is also a 9 year. So completions, endings, and transformation. So with all that being considered and this Mercury retrograde, I believe we have a very powerful opportunity to really shed the skin of just aspects of ourselves that we are so fucking tired of. Um, and what's important about this, again, is being very brutally honest with the psychoanalyzing of your own behavior. And this is the thing that I've been bringing up a lot this year is experimenting with just how out of control and crazy your mind is when you put yourself out in darkness, outside, in some place that can feel scary to you. So my encouragement this Mercury retrograde is to actually try that, is to actually go outside, be outdoors somewhere, and experience yourself when there is no light. Experience yourself when you are alone and in the darkness. This is a meditative experience because I want you all to become aware of how out of control and crazy your mind is. Your mind is in experiencing the darkness because it's all going to be a reflection of what's operating within you unconsciously. And so if you're sitting in the dark, you're sitting out in the wilderness, your mind might go to places of, I'm alone, it's dark, I don't know what's out here. There could be a serial killer, there could be a rapist, there could be the boogeyman, or some crazy supernatural thing. I could get eaten. There's spiders. I can't see. I'm alone. It's dark. It's getting colder. My mind is playing tricks on me. I think I'm seeing shadow figures. I think I'm hearing things, right? And I want you to become aware of that and really ask yourself how much of what I am afraid of in this moment is actually real, is actually true. And try to bring yourself out of the reptilian brain and into the cerebral frontal cortex and to move out of this fight or flight fear state and work on becoming calm, present, and relaxed in an environment where you are initially afraid of and want to immediately go back into the light, go back into the familiar, into your safety zone. And this Mercury retrograde, I believe, is going to be very useful in transforming. And I know I've said this already quite a number of times, but We have Black Moon Lilith in Scorpio, and Black Moon Lilith has been in Scorpio, I think, since March of this year. It's been a long time of Black Moon Lilith in Scorpio. We now have the Sun in Scorpio, and recently we had Mars moving through Scorpio. We have Venus now in Scorpio, and Mercury will be retrograding back into Scorpio. This is a lot of Scorpio energy. And Scorpio is the sign of transformation. And with how long Black Moon Lilith has been in Scorpio, we have already been dealing with an internal struggle, with an internal battle, privately, secretly, that only you know you're dealing with. Maybe you've expressed a little bit here and there to others, but there's something that we've all been dealing with in a personal introspective level where there is fear involved in it, and perhaps things in your life have occurred to really rattle your sense of safety, your sense of security, and your own personal identity. And so I'm pretty sure that those of us who are all listening to this have gone through various ups and downs of of feeling very high about ourselves, then feeling very low about ourselves, and then kind of getting overwhelmed by the currents of the unpredictable nature of our world right now, the timelines that we are in. So I'm pretty sure we've all been kind of feeling, working through things, working through a frustration about ourselves and the world and things going on in our lives. And so by now, you should have become very clear of a handful of things about yourself, your patterns, and your behavior that are causing you to stay in this loop of frustration, of sadness, and stagnation. Okay. This could be financial patterns, financial behaviors. Scorpio is a sign that is associated with money, specifically other people's money. So this is credit, this is loans, this is mortgage, this is inheritance, this is student loans, this is insurance policies, car insurance, health insurance, life insurance, and your credit score, right? So perhaps an opposite Scorpio is Taurus, and that's the energy of where this Uranus is in. And this Mercury is going to be opposing this Uranus three times. We've already gone through once. We're going to experience another one, and the two remaining Mercury Uranus oppositions are happening with Uranus and Taurus, Mercury and Scorpio, and so both these signs deal with money. So perhaps you're dealing with a point of being tired of where you are in life. Maybe it's time, maybe one of the things is you're tired of dealing with a car that doesn't work very well, and struggling with not being able to pay for repairs, or not having enough money to pay your own car insurance. And out of fucking nowhere this summer, during the last Mercury retrograde in August, you got in a car accident and you didn't have car insurance, right? And now you're dealing with the repercussions of being in an accident and being a driver without car insurance. And so perhaps something like this has occurred in your life this year that is making you very aware of where you are lacking financially, where you are lacking in your self-worth financially, in the things that you have, and becoming aware of your limits, how you are limited in your life, and you want more, right? You want something better. You want to completely transform and change. your experience right now. You want the better car. You want to be able to never lapse on your car insurance payment. You want to be able to go to the gas station and never worry about, do you have enough money to fill your tank or looking for the cheapest gas station. You want to be in a position where that never matters for you in your life. Okay. So during this year and going into this Mercury retrograde, this period could be coming to a point of seeing your behaviors and your relationship with money. What are you doing, right? What are you spending on, right? You're spending too much on going out to eat. Every time you leave the house, how much money do you end up spending? $100, $200, and on what, right? So this Mercury retrograde is, and this is a really great example. This can be applied to a number of different things, even health and fitness, right? You're trying to lose weight, you have a goal, you want to hit 315 pounds on the bench press, you want to increase your squats, you want to, lose some body fat, but then what happens? You go out to the bar, you have one too many beers, or, you know, you just lapse in your commitment, right? Where you don't actually make the progress that you want and you're stuck in this cycle, right? So these principles can apply in a number of different ways, but this whole money part is a big one, right? Let's say you want to move into a better house, right? You actually want to own a house. And so you're going to have to look deeper. You're going to have to look deeper into your own psychological patterns and your own relationship with money and how present you can be with yourself and then start disciplining yourself to actually obtain higher value, a higher living condition within your life. Um, so this is that type of Mercury retrograde period during the Scorpio season where we can really look at ourselves, see deeper into our patterns, and understand that it is us. It is our own self. We are our own gatekeepers and our ability to progress ahead, to progress forward, right? There are so many different opportunities, so many different ways to make money, to progress as an entrepreneurial or create a side hustle of some type of ways, right? There are so many things that we can do. Why aren't we doing it? Why aren't you doing it? Right? Uh, and so understanding where we're at with ourselves. Are you depressed? And if you're depressed, why are you depressed? Is your depression a reflection of being without something? Is your depression a reflection of not being able to go on vacations, right? Of not being able to do certain things, to live your life in a certain way, right? And then we have things going on in our economy, right? We have things going on with the agenda, the global elite agendas that are kind of telling us you're not going to have anything, you're not going to go forward, we're going to make it harder for you and all this sort of stuff. And so it's like that's another fear component, right? That's another fear component that's trying to take our power away. And how real does that have to be when you can find miracles and and opportunities happening everywhere, falling through the cracks of, the imprisonment that's trying to take shape and form right now. So with this Uranus opposition, this Uranus in Taurus is this high volatile, like this high electrically charged energy that is wanting to zap Mercury, wanting to zap your brain, your mind with uh, that's wanting to zap your mind with this new information, this to really shake up your core and to understand you can do this. You can have what it is that you desire. And we're going to change your nervous system and the things going on that are bringing your vibration to a lower state. Okay. And and so, I think right now with this Mercury retrograde, um, meditation is really important. And if you find yourself in a position of apathy, or if you find yourself kind of with some free time and you don't know what to do with that free time, then meditate. Get into your body. If you're overwhelmed with frustrations or anxiety and nervous energy, take deep breaths, journal, right? Journal and make a list of all of the things that are kind of in the back of your mind that are operating that need attention, right? Such as your checking account, right? The things you're subscribed to, literally as I was talking to, making this video, I got a notification that, another, $15 monthly subscription to an app that I use maybe only once or twice a month just got taken out. So like, do I still need this? Do I still need this subscription if I'm hardly using the app, right? So, and that's $15 a month. Where can that $15 a month go to if not this, right? And so this is an important opportunity to just kind of slow down your pace, all right? And not trying to go somewhere outside of you, not trying to go out, but come inwards to yourself and to, because the thing about Mercury is that when Mercury is overwhelmed, it's blocked from freely expressing itself. It's blocked from being able to access different perspectives. Okay. Um, and then, okay. And then eventually we're going to have the Scorpio new moon. All right. Um, hold on. All right. We're going to have the Scorpio new moon on November 20th. All right. And during that new moon, Mercury will be conjunct the sun and the moon. Look at this. Okay, we have Black Moon Lilith 26 degrees Scorpio, Venus 16 degrees Scorpio. We have the moon 28 degrees, the sun 28 degrees Scorpio, the new moon. And then here's Mercury right here, retrograde at 28 degrees. And this is opposite Uranus in Taurus at 29 degrees. All right. This is extremely powerful. This new moon here in Scorpio, for us to again shed the skin and really transform, to experience a true transformation. But in order to experience this true transformation, you have to make the space for it. You have to get ready for it. So think about a snake, right? A snake that is shedding its skin. What is that snake doing when it sheds its skin? It's securing itself. It's hiding itself, right? It's going through this process. It's likely also going through a fast, right? It doesn't have much of an appetite during that time. It's centering itself. It's focusing. It's allowing its body to do this amazing thing and letting the skin literally shed and remove itself from its body. So we have to work ourselves up to that process right now in getting into meditation, in understanding that now and until the new moon on November 20th, which is a week away, that now until November 20th, that we should be approaching each day as a ceremony to ourselves, as a meditation to ourselves in really wanting to transform and really wanting to become a different person, a better person, a person that you know you have the potential to become. one that is more responsible, one that is more dependent, one that slightly changes their behaviors and patterns in a way that's going to completely allow yourself to have more energy, more focus towards yourself. For example, let's say like myself, you've been a stoner almost your whole life, most of your life. I've been smoking weed since I was 14 years old, right? And for years, like almost my entire life, I've had a very hard time in being able to control my relationship with marijuana. And it became very unconscious. Even during, I mean, I've gone through years, 2 years of not smoking marijuana. I've been able to do that. Um, but there were times in my life where I really wanted to be in a position where I didn't have to stop entirely, but like I'm not smoking marijuana entirely. I wanted to be able to just marijuana not just be a thing where I'm doing or not doing at all, right? And and I'm finally at a point in my life where a week or 2 weeks can go by and I've had no desire for marijuana. I have not really realized that it's been this amount of time where I've not smoked marijuana. And now let's say, okay, I'm gonna smoke some. I'm gonna pack a bowl and smoke some weed, and it's no big deal. And I'm doing it at a time where I don't have much responsibilities during the day, and I can just relax into my own skin, into my own self, and know that I'm being responsible. Whereas before it was shit, I fucking took a hit of the bong and I forgot that I have a dentist appointment, and now I'm stoned and I'm not organized. I don't even know where the dentist is, and fuck, this sucks. So it's this season right now going into the Scorpio new moon, like you want to look at your behavior, look at your patterns and see what sort of things that you can change about yourself, right? And literally see yourself become a new person. Yesterday, I charged up an old phone of mine that I have not turned on and looked through in about 4 or 5 years. Uh, and looking at this phone, I'm looking through old pictures, old text messages, and I don't recognize that version of me at all. At all. That previous version of me, I don't even know who that person was, who that person is. And this is the kind of reflections we want to be holding space for ourselves right now of who am I becoming? Who do I want to become? Who have I been? Who have I been over the previous 9 years? Because we are in a 9 year. So who have I been in the previous 9 years? What has this journey taught me over the last decade about myself? And how much have I changed from then into now? And where do I want to continue to progress in this change? I think this is a very powerful Scorpio new moon that we're going to have, where we will be able to unlock a door within ourselves, unlock a door to gain access to a level of wisdom and insight about ourselves and our lives that will really spark a true transformation and also eliminate a fear that has held you back nearly your entire life. And what are you afraid of? What fears might you have? I deal with fears about what am I doing as an online consultant, not so much fears, but like, questioning and doubting myself. What am I doing as an online consultant here? You know, is this something I should be doing? Am I even good at this? Right? and dealing with those kinds of issues. And that holds me back, right? That holds me back from being able to do more, from creating classes, from creating more programs, from creating more content that I know will be great, that I know people would love and appreciate. But because I deal with this internal struggle, there's energy that is being wasted that can actually be invested into actually doing something about it, right? And so dealing with these things about ourselves is really important at this time because I know that you know what it is about yourself, your behaviors, your patterns that you know is holding you back, that you know is contributing to your depression or contributing to you feeling a little bit low about yourself. You are aware of the things that you are doing. You are aware of the things that you need and want that'll help you feel better. And the things that you want that'll help you feel better are all reliant on your ability to change. And that's what I believe the Scorpio season is about. I believe what this Mercury retrograde is really going to be teaching us during this time. Let me pull up that chart again. Because, not only will Uranus be opposing this Scorpio new moon, this lineup, which is going to be a shocking revelation for ourselves. It's going to be a big deal. You're going to you're going to receive so much information because remember, Mercury governs the mind, the brain, and at this point of Mercury's retrograde, we will experience the inferior conjunction. And this is the point where Mercury is retrograde crossing over the sun. And so this is a moment where our awareness meets our mind and we can sit in our awareness in the things that we've been mentally processing uh, and form a connection into our bodies. And with this and with the moon here as well, wow, this is just adds so much emotional depth to it as well. And then Uranus creates the sudden shock and surprise. The sudden shock and surprise that is a revelation. Wow. But what else is going on is the continuation of this grand water trine with Jupiter trining all the Scorpio energy and all the Scorpio energy trining the Pisces, the Saturn in Pisces, the Neptune in Pisces. And I made a video about this last week. Okay. This Neptune and this Saturn in Pisces is very powerful. All right. With the Neptune at the 29-degree point of Pisces, this is reminding us you have a spiritual connection. You've been experiencing synchronicities. You've been experiencing supernatural phenomenon. You know that you are the center of your universe. You know you have a light body. You know now that the divine, that the spirits, the elementals, that all of this is real, right? You have an ability to be multidimensional. You have an ability to align yourself and center yourself in your own universe and manifest and bring things into creation, both nightmares and the dream. And Saturn is that energy of accountability, of integrity. And remember, I said in the video last week, faith without works is dead. You have to walk your talk. You have to apply working your faith, your spiritual connection. You can't just have lofty ideals. Yeah, this is what I believe, these are my opinions, and this is how I see spirituality and the world and disclosure and all that sort of stuff. Okay, well, what are you actually practicing? What have you actually done today or in the last week that demonstrates you actually practice what you believe? And when you're tested by the universe, when you're tested by sudden acts of fate that seem negative, are you still strongly connected to your faith and what you believe in? Do you still trust the plan, even though things might seem they're not going your way? Do you still believe and can surrender and trust that God's got you, or that you got yourself and everything is working out in a higher order, right? That's what this is. And then that Jupiter in Cancer here, this Jupiter in Cancer, this is bringing us home. This is bringing us into our wombs, into our uh, digestion, into our intestinal regions of ourselves, right? When you have a gut feeling or you're uneasy and you're nervous and you're unsettled in some type of in some on some type of emotional way. And that Jupiter in Cancer has also been squaring Chiron in Aries, right? So there's some emotional triggers that have been activated during this time as well that is wanting you to access some gifts in the pain you may have held on to from things that have happened in the past, and to let go of certain burdens and weights in order for you to now access a healing gift from things that have affected you, that have hurt you in the past. And then the Scorpio energy is that transformational component of being able to transform from the depths of your own darkness, from the depths of your own pain. So this is a beautiful time we're in right now. Fears are activated. Um, this darker energy is active. You might be feeling way more sexually aroused than what you're used to with this amount of Scorpio energy. And that's a good thing if you're feeling that. If you're feeling a sudden arise of sexual energy, that is really good. And you want to control that. You want to utilize that and channel that into your body and into your creations. Okay. You want to become aware of that and use that energy for feed that sexual energy into your vitality, into your organs, into your aspirations, and into your dreams. Very important. Um, what else here? Um, well, that's it. That's all I'm going to say for now. Um, I'll likely do another video about the Scorpio New Moon coming up and break it down. I'll probably write an article about it to break it down. That seems like it will be easier for me to describe to write it down. Um, but again, you know, I believe that now and leading up to the Scorpio New Moon is a really good time to really sit with yourself and to figure out what things about your behavior and your patterns that you want to change. Meditate in seeing yourself as the person you want to become and see what kind of daily habits and patterns that this person has, right? And feel that into yourselves, into your nervous system. Because with the energies that we have going on, this can facilitate instant transformation. Scorpio is an energy of intensity, of intense yes or no, right? Scorpio is, I'm going to smoke meth, or I've been smoking meth, and now I'm going to just suddenly stop. I'm going to quit it. I cut all ties, never again. I'm transformed. This is the kind of powerful transformation that's available to us right now, where we can experience some higher power, and that higher power being ourselves, come into our body, come into our nervous system, rewire things. But we have to hold the space for that right now. And we have to start doing that work right now. So that way, when that energy is coming through during that new moon, it's one, not wasted, and two, it doesn't fucking get cockeyed within our bodies. You get what I'm saying? Like, doesn't get, jackknifed and kind of, uh, you know, uh, I don't know what the word, but like jackknifed and fucking knotted up. There you go, knotted up and not having the direction. So now is a really good time to, be meditating on things, affirmations, the things that you want to change, things that you want to let go of, certain thought patterns and behaviors, right? Um, I've been working on things too, um like being more intentional with my downtime, right? Like sometimes I don't fucking know what to do with myself, right? What am I gonna do with myself right now? I have a whole day, I don't know what to do, right? And I'll admit it because all of us have this fucking problem. I will spend way too much time on this fucking phone. Way too much time on this fucking phone where I can pull up my phone and I start fucking just scrolling and I'm literally doing nothing. Literally doing nothing, right? And I get to these points of like, God fucking damn it, throw my phone across the room. What? 30 minutes just went by. 40 minutes just went by. An hour just went by. And all I've done was scroll through my phone. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. I want to become different in this, right? But this addiction, this attachment, right? This has been gone on for a really, really long time for all of us, right? I'm not ashamed about it because it's a fucking real thing that's been going on around the entire world to billions of people. So you want to criticize me and make me seem like I'm a piece of shit because I can admit that I have a phone addiction and you can't? Go the fuck ahead. Whatever makes you feel better, right? Um, but this is the kind of things that I'm trying to point out in how we can hold space for ourselves, right? Because I'm getting tired of certain things of what I know I'm doing and in the moments where I see that, I verbally command the affirmation, no, I don't want this. I don't want to be this kind of person. I don't want to waste my time in this way. I want to be different. I want to do different things. I want different habits. This is what I want. And then I'll take an action that affirms what I'm telling myself, what I'm telling my mind, what I'm telling my universe, and what needs to change in my energy and in my nervous system and in my, cognitive mental conditionings, right? Because how long, how many years have certain behaviors, patterns, and thought patterns been taking up real estate in your mind and in your body? Because if it's years, then it takes a lot of work to decondition yourself. It takes a lot of work to rewire yourself. And we want to do things right now. We want an instant transformation right now. And this is the type of transit that we are moving through where we can literally change. And it's not that it's happening instantly. We've been holding the space for it. We've been working ourselves and becoming aware of what our problems are, right? And it's just very fucking hard, right? Because our nervous systems have been wired. My nervous system has been wired to unconsciously pick up this phone, go to fucking Instagram and start scrolling on reels, right? And so this is what I mean. This is what I'm doing before I become aware. Before I become aware of what I'm doing. That's Mercury. That's the operations of Mercury moving ahead of the sun. And this Mercury retrograde is very powerful in becoming aware of what you are doing as you are doing and changing it and shedding old skin. So that way we can, really move ahead in a different timeline that we are wanting for ourselves. And so with that being said, I'm going to end this brief video here. I hope it was useful for you. If you'd like to book a session and talk about where this Mercury retrograde is occurring in your chart, please visit sleepingshaman.com and book a session. Or you can email me directly. at starseedsalsa.com, and we can analyze your chart, talk about where the grand water trine is occurring, and where this Mercury Uranus opposition is occurring in your chart, as well as the Mercury retrograde. So that way you can get an understanding of how this is impacting you on a much more personal level. So, with that being said, it's all love and light and death and darkness. Peace.